And hey there, everybody. Thanks for joining us for today's release webinar. My name is Sam Byler. I am the co-founder and CEO here at Boostpoint, and I've got...
And my name is Jared Neff. I am one of the co-founders and CTO here at Boostpoint.
Awesome. So we are really excited about today. We are releasing a new AI tool that the product team that works under Jared has been working tirelessly on for a little while here. So we are releasing the alpha version of Boostpoint Create AI. So we're really excited about that. I'm going to give a little bit of context, what brought us to this place right here, and a bit about we're going to go through a demo of the platform, and then you'll have early access. Everybody on this webinar, you'll have early access to this tool. It's the alpha release here. It's going to be free access. So we'll send you an email at the end of the webinar where you can create an account and use it yourself. So we are really excited.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's start, maybe rewind the clock. We'll go about six months back. So just for some context, Boostpoint, we are a software company, software as a service platform. We help organizations with recruitment marketing efforts, specifically for social media. Think ads on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, recruitment ads, helping you fill your candidate pipeline through targeted social media ads. So one of the things that the key elements for running successful recruitment marketing initiatives is the content. That's always been what I've called the X factor when it comes to effective recruitment marketing is what's the creative. So you have the tactical side, setting up your ads properly from a technical perspective, but the most impactful portion of running successful recruitment marketing is your content. Like, what are the words that you're actually using to communicate to possible candidates? And so again, about 6 months ago, this is something we've done a lot of work on in the past, building frameworks and things like this. And historically, it's always been, a human that's been writing the content for our ads. And until about 5-6 months ago, we started looking at potential ways that we could train AI to do some of this work for us. And what we found after months of building our own training model is that we've gotten it to the place now where this is what we're using for our ads, for platforms like Facebook, Instagram. And it just made us a lot more efficient and a lot more consistent in serving our clients to help them launch successful social media ads. So as that tool evolved, we started asking ourselves other questions of what are the other scenarios and use cases of how AI could bring positive change to specifically recruitment marketing, anything related to content when you think of talent acquisition and HR. And so that's what kicked us off on this journey of building and now releasing a AI tool for HR and talent acquisition teams. So I'm going to do a pause here. Jared, if you want to jump in, we'll go through a demo, and then we're going to go through some use cases. So we're going to jump right into that. I'm going to do a quick pause here. Q&A, we're going to do Q&A at the end. So feel free, if there's any questions that kind of come up in your mind as we're going through things, feel free to even now plug those into the Q&A, or at the end of the presentation, plug those in, and we'll get to those at the end here after the demo. So Jared, I'll let you take it from here.
Great. Thanks, Tim. All right, so we're going to start by sharing our screen here. All right, find the right one. All right. Should be perfect there. Okay, so what we're starting on here is basically we're doing a demo of the full product, and where we're starting is the login screen. And this is kind of where we were first kind of introducing Carl. Carl is our AI robot who is kind of the personification of the AI process that we've done. So you'll see Carl become a kind of recurring character throughout the application here. So on this screen here, this is where we would log in. If you're an existing Boostpoint customer with a login from any of our other platforms, you can use that here. Or If you're not, it's fine. Just go ahead and register. During the alpha phase, it is free to sign up and register. So here I'm going to fill out my information and sign in, which brings us to this screen right here. This is the main screen you're going to be interacting with throughout the Boostpoint Create AI experience. On the right, we have the preview page. As you can see, another Carl bringing his self back up again here. We're just waiting for some directives, some input that we can give him to start generating that content. This is also the location on the screen where your previews will show up once Carl has generated those. Over on the left, we have our the input is put in for information that you're giving Carl. There's also, which we'll get to in just a second, the actions that you can ask Carl to take on your behalf. So we'll start by creating a real quick request here. We start by choosing a tone. We have a number of tones here, things from professional, warm, witty. So we're going to start just for fun to make a witty ad here. We're going to create a fictitious company here. Oops. And then job title, and the company name is the company that you're generating this on behalf of. So most likely it's going to be your company. If you're doing on behalf of someone else, that's what we're putting in here. The job title we're entering is the job that you're searching for, you're hiring for. So we're going to enter a production worker. And then we have the job description. The job description down here is kind of unique. You can enter anything from a full-fledged job description that you've copied and maybe pasted from a posting somewhere. Or if you don't have that yet, you can give it as minimal information as you need, just maybe a sentence about who you're hiring. We are going to put in that we're looking to hire a production worker with maybe a little more than a year experience. And we click next. From here, we have what is our actions page. These are the action pane. These are the actions that you're requesting Carl to generate the content on behalf or for. They are separated by categories. All those categories are up here in kind of an easy filter list. You can filter them by social, job boards. You can see all the job board information here. We have messages, any messaging you want him to create for you. We have email scripts in here, and then we have some general scripts at the end, which would be something like voicemail and interview questions. All right, so for our purposes today, we are just going to create a Facebook organic post. And by clicking create there, basically Carl gets off to the races here. He's taking the information that we've put in from step 1 and also using the directive, the action that we're asking him to create for us in step 2, and going out and using our AI learning model to then generate that content and send it back to us. Here you can see now that Carl's returned this information in the preview pane here. We have a really well-constructed organic Facebook post.
Yep.
At this time, if I wanted to, like I'm reading through it, I want something a little bit different, spice it up a little bit. I could rewrite. I could also go back to step 1, change some of the information, change the tone, maybe some more information in the job description. One thing to note right here actually is back in the job description, the more information you give Carl, the more precise he's going to be. So you can enter minimal information. Carl, it takes a little bit more of creative freedom. So he's going to fill in a lot of gaps if you don't give him the information, but he does a really good job of being creative with the information that he's given here. You could then at this time also go on and just start creating some other content in the same session. And it does save the previous content you created through this session. So you can kind of refer back and forth between all the individual pieces that Carl's creating for you.
Yep. Awesome. Thanks, Jared, for going through some of that. So next, we're going to go through a couple different maybe examples or personas of types of people that could use a tool like Create AI and just explore the different action items that Carl can produce kind of for your everyday experiences. So let's first assume, let's say I'm an HR generalist at this same company here, and I'm, a new rec has been approved, and now I need to create my Indeed, my ZipRecruiter, all these job postings on behalf of this particular job. So right here would be an example of that right here. I've got, the main things required, like an intro to the job, and this is written in a very engaging way. It's not just a job description, but, it's really highlighting what you'd want in like an Indeed ad or a ZipRecruiter ad, showing the benefits, the requirements, and the expectations of the role. So that would be one example. Let's say I'm, trying to brainstorm on job titles. Maybe I'm optimizing my Indeed ads again, but I need to experiment with some new job titles. So right here, I could help, Carl could generate 5 different job title ideas from the original job title that I inserted at the beginning. This is one that I've used actually quite a bit. I'm kind of notorious for when an interview, interviewing somebody that's coming in for an open role, and 10-15 minutes before the interview, I'm like, oh man, where's the questions that I'm supposed to ask this person for this particular role? Here, Carl can create these. Here's would be 10 very specific interview questions. I really love this one because it's always very contextual to the role. It's not just like this copy and paste template of questions, again, for us internally, whether, I'm interviewing a software engineer or an account executive position or someone in customer success, the questions that it will give me are very contextual to that position, which can be really, really helpful. So let's maybe jump into another persona, using Create AI. Let's say I'm a recruiter. What are some of the daily tasks that I'm doing to perform my job? So one could be, let's jump into like SMS and email applicant follow-up. So applicant follow-up is a big one, and keeping this fresh and engaging. Here's an example of like a 5 email workflow and content for that. Again, this is written very specifically to be engaging. It's not too long, and it's super engaging content to connect with candidates to schedule an interview. Other things could be like DMs for cold outreach, like LinkedIn direct messages and content for that. Maybe voicemail scripts, say I'm following up with a long list of candidates. Here's a way to get a quick email script right in front of me so that I know how to, engage with candidates in a really creative way. Let's now maybe jump into like a recruitment marketer. So there's a ton of content, a ton of ways to, advertise your job openings, whether that's paid media, organic media. And so let's go through some of those scenarios. Say I'm a recruitment marketer and I need content for, a Facebook ad, a targeted Facebook ad that, I'm going to run through Boostpoint. Boom, right here. Again, what you're seeing here is this is all still based off of the one input that Jared did at the beginning of this session, where the only thing, you put in was company, job title, and a quick description of the role. But here you see it converts that information to an action that has really, really high quality content. As you look at this preview here, this example, it's very contextual to what performs well, specifically with social media ads. This is a different format than what your example at the beginning, like an organic Facebook post, because again, each channel needs to be handled a little bit differently because of, and optimized specifically because of the types of people and how people interact with those. Like another example is like a Twitter post. You have a different character limit for each one of these. So let's continue on. Another one would be like Google ads, like targeted Google ads, pay-per-click campaigns, SMS campaigns. I really love this. Like SMS is such a powerful tool to engage with candidates, but sometimes the biggest challenge is just getting the content. Like, all right, well, sure, we know we need to, build an SMS campaign, to engage with candidates, but what's the content, that we can use to engage with candidates? Boom, right here. This can, be produced instantly so that you can just become more efficient to create that human connection with potential candidates. Going to take a quick pause here, shift gears again. So that's kind of that's an overview, a quick overview of our tool that we're excited to get into hands of anyone in HR, talent acquisition, small businesses, large businesses. Our goal here really is to make your job more effective. Instead of spending hours, creating content, be spend more of your time with human interaction, actually engaging with candidates and applicants that are coming through your hiring pipeline. I'm going to open it up for QA here again in a couple minutes. So if you have any questions, feel free to start punching those in. I'm going to take a sec here to give a little bit of insight into what are our plans for this tool. Right now, during the alpha phase, this is a completely free tool for anybody to use. So, feel free to jump in, create an account after this webinar, share it with any of your colleagues or someone that you think might find this as a useful tool. Really, what we're looking for is real-time feedback. We just went through these scenarios of how, again, we live in HR and talent acquisition, but we know, your role is unique, and the way you might use a tool like this would be different, maybe the way than, Jared and I might think you would use it, and the team here at Boostpoint. So we would love to get real-time feedback from, you using this tool to see, like, one of the main things, what are other actions that you'd love Carl to create? Again, how we built the tool to the stage where it's at now has been from quite a bit of feedback from people actually out in the field. It's like, oh, I do interviews all the time and fresh questions. Okay, great. That's a great action item. But are there other action items that's kind of baked into your day-to-day where a little bit of assistance from an AI tool, would help you become more effective and more efficient? So really that's the big thing that we'd love to engage with everybody with is use the tool. Hopefully it's useful, but then any other items that you'd love Carl to be able to produce, to let us know. Did you have anything else to add to that, Jared?
Yeah, some of the examples that we had there, you saw that I had given it that witty outcomes. I don't know if you're following along with the screen share there, and I saw any of those things. Feel free to play around with some of those tones as well. Like we said, we want this to meet also your company brand voice as well. So we gave a variety in there. If there's any more feedback or some information or anything you can give us on those or requests we have there. Like I said, we chose the witty tone, which is a really kind of fun, having a little playful environment with it, but we're open to the feedback on that as well.
Awesome. We got some great questions, so I don't think we're going to delay that any longer. We'll jump right into answering some of these. So I'll go ahead and take the first one here. Question is, once Carl finishes writing the ad, can we go in and modify it? For example, could we add a direct link to our hiring page? So the way you would interact with the content that Carl produces right now is you copy and paste that to whatever channel you actually want to use this. So that's how you would modify it. Right now, there's not like an integration where you could publish it directly to Indeed or publish it directly to Facebook. That's most likely going to be integrations and features that we build at a later time. So right now it would be producing the content. You could get them to rewrite it, but then it would be scraping it out of Boostpoint, copying and pasting it, and inputting it to the channel that you'd use it, which kind of answers the second question that I'll jump into right here. Another person asks, does this tool interface with Jazz HR? Not yet. Jared, I'll go ahead and let you take the next question.
Sure. So a good one here is how accurate is the content? I think I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but Carl, it tends to be pretty creative. So it depends on the amount of information you give Carl is how accurate that the content is. We still highly recommend that you're fact checking it and pouring over to what he gives back to you to make sure that it meets your, once again, your company brand, your voice, and that it is factually accurate, because Carl does take a little bit of creative freedom in there if he doesn't have enough, all the information tends to fill in those gaps.
Yep. Another question here, how can we submit feedback to you guys? So within Create AI, there is a chat widget. Probably not saying that exactly the way to describe it, but basically a place where you can give feedback right within the platform, kind of through a chat widget, would be probably the easiest way for individuals to give feedback or requests, feature requests through that tool, or email somebody here at Boostpoint as well. But there will be a feedback tool within the platform.
And there's two questions that are kind of similar here. Can Carl's words be changed or altered once you receive the script? Right now, the current way, there's a couple ways. So there's a rewrite button right underneath that. If you just click on the rewrite button, he's going to try to give you another variation of the input you've already asked for. You can always go back to step one, change some of the inputs, either the tone, the job title, or the description, maybe add a little more information there, and then go back and start creating the content again. That's probably the most customizable way. If you just click that rewrite button, he's going to give you just another version of the input. It will be different though.
Yep. And then another question here: to track like which Facebook ad or Indeed ad like candidates responded from, or SMS, like the different channels. So right now, Create AI is just the content generation tool. That's the way that I think about this tool is, if you're not posting from this platform, again, this is features that we're open to in the future. These are great, even these questions. Thanks so much for submitting these questions. If these things are super important to you, hey, would make your life easier. Those are things we're always looking to hear. Right now, you can think of Create AI as just the content generator. So when you're Indeed ready to post that next ad, you're still posting it through Indeed, but you're leveraging Create AI to create the content that you'd use for that specific platform. Do you have any other?
Real quick on that one then too, just a quick call out to I think we'd be doing ourselves a disservice, a call out to our other products though too, and I think Sam mentioned this as well earlier, is that we've been using a tool like this, like Carl, for months for our own internal purposes, especially with our core product. And we can help with tracking that kind of stuff, Facebook advertisements, lead ad generation, all kinds of stuff with our Boostpoint Attract product. So we're not just this Boostpoint Create AI as a company. We do have other core platforms that we provide, and Facebook advertising placement and optimization is one of those.
Yep, absolutely. And for any more information, like around some of the other things we do, just boostpoint.com, feel free to jump over there. For the last question here, I'll answer, which is a good segue into wrapping this up, is from Robin. Question is, how do we get started? Great question. So, right now the platform is live. What's the URL, Jared?
If you go to boostpointcreate.ai,
boostpointcreate.ai.
Yep, no spaces, just boostpointcreate.ai.
Yep. So you can go ahead and navigate over there, create your free account, just register. Only takes like a minute or two. We'll also get everybody who attended this, shoot you an email with a link to that. And I believe there might be a link also on our main website, boostpoint.com. So that's how you get access to it. And again, feel free, if there's anyone in your network that you feel this might be a useful tool for, feel free to share it with colleagues, friends, anyone that you might think would find this tool useful. Anything else, Jared? We wrap this up?
I think that's a great place to stop.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks everybody for joining us for this release webinar. I really appreciate everybody who jumped on, and really hope you guys find this useful. Go ahead. Again, I encourage you guys right after this, go ahead, create an account, fiddle around with it. Again, if there's any types of feedback or things that you wish Carl could do, we're really looking for that type of feedback, and that's how we'll be building other features and other action items, in the future with Carl. Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.